If you're feeling mentally and emotionally hurt, frustrated, or even haunted by past memories or experiences, mindfulness meditation is a practice that can offer you some relief. This is the third video in my series, Mindful Healing, where I'm talking to you about the practice of mindfulness meditation for self-care and personal development. Let me talk to you about how and why to use this practice to turn your emotional pain into peace. My name is Aaron. I am a certified life coach, and I specialize in metaphysical practices like mindfulness meditation, yoga nidra, dream work, and other self-exploration practices for self-care and personal development. In addition to the information that I'm going to be giving you in this video, if you are interested in learning more about mindfulness meditation, in the way of learning how to practice mindfulness meditation, the ins and outs of the technique, all of that good stuff, in the description box below, you're going to find my free 2-hour class, The 10 Steps to Clearing the Mind with Mindfulness Meditation, where I give you all of those inside details and a closer look at the practice so that you can really learn how to implement it in your day-to-day life. You'll find the link to that class in the description box below under the resources section. I've broken down this information into 4 different sections. So this video is going to be a deeper dive, but I think by the end of it, you're going to have an answer to a lot of your questions. I'm going to be pulling in some text as well. So in each section, I'm going to talk about information from a different text. We have Reverse Meditation by Andrew Holacek, Yoga Nidra, The Art of Transformational Sleep by Dr. Kamini Desai. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you about this book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne and how you can get a free copy. And there are also timestamps in this video to help you better navigate your experience. Our first section is going to be on the concept of contraction. So let me explain to you about contraction, what it is, and how you notice it in your day-to-day life. The emotional state you probably want to be in, one that is free, is one that is harmonious, one that is balanced and full of well-being. This includes your mental and emotional states. But how do you exactly notice when you are experiencing some emotion like hurt or frustration or pain? This is going to involve first the experience of contraction. This is where I want to bring in the first book, Reverse Meditation, where Andrew Holacek talks about beginners and more advanced practices related to mindfulness meditation that involve turning your pain into peace. So let me read to you from a section of this book. In the beginning, on page 6, where he defines contraction and is really helping you to understand what it is as he's going to be going along, he says, contraction is a principle that I will be using to describe the evasion tactics, the reactivity, the self-generated obstacles that stand between us and inner freedom. For now, we can just say that contraction is the retreat from reality that typically happens when things start to hurt. With every contraction, we withdraw from what's happening, from authentic contact with reality, and into our inauthentic storylines about it. And I have one more quote for you from page 7. Pain and suffering are not the same. Suffering is an inappropriate relationship to pain. So here in the beginning, we have contraction. He defines contraction as the movement away from reality. away from direct contact and direct experience of reality. So when you have an emotional experience that comes up, when you have an emotion, a frustration, it starts as an actual sensation in the body, a feeling in the pit of your stomach, the tension in the muscles. You interpret and you take as anxiety or frustration or anger or fear or anticipation of something negative. You have that emotional experience, and because you don't want to have that emotional experience, you withdraw from it and you go into the narratives about it and the storyline and why it's happening. You begin to really intellectualize. Intellectualization brings you further away from the emotions and the direct experience of those emotions that you are having. There is this contraction, and that brings us into our second section, avoiding the contractions. Pain naturally arises as a part of life experience. We naturally have the experience of pain as a part of this physical reality. That's different than suffering. Suffering, we heard in the definition of contraction from Andrew Holacek, he defines it as an inappropriate relationship to pain. This inappropriate relationship comes about when we are trying to avoid maintaining contact with those emotions. It throws the emotions into the background where they're actually still going on and continue to negatively influence your behavior in a very unconscious way. So contraction is what the body-mind complex does as a response to avoid painful experiences, as well as their associated emotions. This comes in the form of defense mechanisms, evasion tactics, rationalizations, intellectualization, and even addictions that develop as a way to withdraw from an experience or a negative emotion that one is trying to avoid because they are uncomfortable with it. And this is where I want to go ahead and bring in my second text. This quote that I'm going to read you to dive deeper into this is going to be from Yoga Nidra, The Art of Transformational Sleep. If you follow my work here on Higher Alignment, then you know I often talk about the practice of Yoga Nidra. In fact, you will find an entire Yoga Nidra playlist section on my channel here in case you want to try one of these practices out. But Yoga Nidra is a meditative practice very similar to mindfulness meditation, which we're going to be getting to here in just a few moments. But Yoga Nidra is the Sanskrit word for sleep. So this type of meditative practice is done on the borders of sleeping and awaking. So you lie down, and it really is a practice of what she calls transformational sleep. You are able to shift your habits and release a lot of negative influences, begin to create more positive influences in your mind that through nurturing and engaging in actions will help develop new habits, thus changing your external life and your lifestyle and your experience of life. In this text, she talks a lot about negative emotions and negative experiences and how we deal with those and how those manifest in your life. And she has a section, let me see what, I didn't write the page number down, sorry, but it is in this book. In order to understand how Yoga Nidra can be of benefit to habits and addictions, we must first understand how habits and addictions present themselves at different ranges on the same spectrum. Consider that every experience we have, failure, heartbreak, joy, or conflict, creates a corresponding sensation in the body. We may feel tightness in the belly, lightness in the heart, constriction in the throat, or an open, relaxed body. Every experience creates an internal weather pattern. a unique constellation of sensations coming together in a particular way. These patterns of sensation are what we call being angry, sad, frustrated, or joyful. However, the common underlying experience is sensation. Sensation and experience are closely related. Without sensation, there would be no emotion. There would only be thought. There are some emotions and accompanying sensations with which we are comfortable and can allow. Others we find uncomfortable and have difficulty allowing. Whatever those emotions are that bring you uncomfortable sensations, consider that when they reach a certain level of intensity, you are likely to try to evade or escape them. You may find yourself using all manner of external and internal strategies to keep these sensations at bay, whatever it may be. Notice these are all tactics we use to manage but not feel. What Andrew Holacek was defining as contraction, this withdrawal from reality, the withdrawal from that experience. Kamini Desai is saying, whatever that may be, notice that these are all tactics we use to manage but not feel emotions and sensations. Unfortunately, these tactics do not bring resolution. How do we truly integrate an experience? We need to be willing to feel the emotions as sensations that we didn't feel before. When sensations are felt and allowed, apart from the mind's rationalization and justification, the sensations will move through and return to balance. So this is important because a lot of times people, ourselves, everyone, even myself, we try to rationalize and intellectualize an experience. And we think that coming to an intellectual understanding of what's going on and the history behind it and all of that is going to make the sensation go away. It's not. It's actually going to probably be making it linger on for a while because now you're involved in this other process. And this process is actually sucking you into the experience rather than allowing it to be in the body and not attaching onto it. So now I want to go into our third section. Hopefully everything is making sense so far. If it does not make sense, please drop a comment in the comment section below and I will see what comes up and make some clarifying videos. So I realized that my light was off, so hopefully we have a little bit better lighting now. But section 3 is going to be our reintroduction to mindfulness meditation. So I gave you a definition of mindfulness meditation before, or mindfulness. I want us to redefine it and redefine it just a little bit more as you move forward and continue to learn more about the practice, what it is, and how to use it to positively influence your life and your well-being.
Did you know that for only $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive guided meditations, yoga nidras, workbooks, and even live self-care practices? If you're enjoying the content that I put out here on YouTube, then please consider supporting me via Patreon. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can support this channel as well as supporting your own well-being. My goal is to get 50 people subscribed to my Patreon before the end of the year. That way I can personally assist you in creating more transformation in your life and improving your well-being. Your support is immensely appreciated and it helps me to continue making resources just like this one right here. I'll put the link to my Patreon in the description box below. Go ahead and check it out, and now back to your tutorial.
I want us to now think about mindfulness meditation, and that I want us to think of this definition as being becoming used to openness. Remember, mindfulness meditation, mindfulness means to bear something in mind, to remember, to not forget, to observe, to take notice of. That's what we mean when we say to be mindful of something, to bear it in mind. So we are not withdrawing from that experience. We're not contracting away from it, as what Andrew Holacek or perhaps Dr. Kamini Desai would say or describe it as. We are maintaining contact with that object, with that experience, with whatever it is. When we're practicing mindfulness meditation, we're bearing in mind an object, whether that be bearing in mind the sensation of the breath at the nostrils, the rise and the fall of the stomach, the feeling of the breath in another part of the body. And through maintaining contact with that object, you learn to become open and present. You learn to maintain the focus of awareness on it despite whatever is going on. You are allowing whatever is going on to continue to go on, but you don't withdraw your focus away from that object of attention. In the beginning of your mindfulness meditation journey, you're training your capacity to be aware, to be present, to focus. But remember, mindfulness meditation is also about relaxation. So it's a focused relaxation. You focus on your object. Through your relaxation, you develop a balanced openness, which is going to naturally lead us into our fourth section: how to manage difficult emotions, and really how to meditate to release and deal with those difficult emotions and experiences. Let's talk about how mindfulness meditation really helps you to find and maintain contact with inner peace while you are experiencing troubling emotions or even negative experiences in life. Mindfulness meditation, you are sitting with that object, and the object at that time in the beginning is something that's very neutral. You learn naturally through meditation. I'm pretty sure if you're interested in mindfulness meditation, you've sat down to actually practice and you realize that so many things flood into your mind. Memories, thoughts, fantasies, daydreams, and really the name of the game in the beginning is to really learn to anchor your focus on your attention. It may be in a more forceful way in the beginning. Every time something comes up, you recognize that the mind has become distracted and you return back to your object of meditation over and over and over. And those may be even emotionally, memories of emotionally troubling experiences or emotionally charged events from your day that also fill your body with tons of physical sensations. So through that practice, you learn off the cushion to be open without judging. On the cushion, you're learning to not be focused on the narratives that come up in the mind, to allow them without judging them and to really treat them all the same. So you learn to do that off the cushion as well. During those actually emotionally charged times, you have a bit more distance from the narratives and the stories and the things that you become caught up in and wrapped up in. But let's dive even just a little bit more deeper into why the practice helps you and other things you're going to notice about your experience. So it's going to alter your relationship or your perspective with emotional pain and emotional experiences. Why and how? Whereas previously you responded to negative emotions and negative experiences through contraction, through withdrawing from the actual experience into defense mechanisms, into intellectualization, into rationalization, into maybe engaging in negative actions and things that cause a decline in your health, whether that be even like addiction. Things that you are doing to keep yourself from being in contact with the actual sensations that you are feeling. So it alters your relationship because you learn to be open and create this distance from the actual sensations, whereas you can observe them without judgment. When you do go to take action, hopefully it's an appropriate reaction that even though the emotional experience, the physical sensation is there, you can still take action that is going to lead you in the direction of harmony instead of engaging with something or doing something that's going to take you in the opposite direction or on a path of further decline. The second thing that you're going to notice, of course, is through the practice of meditation, it's going to cultivate more calm and more peace in your life despite whatever is going on around you. Mindfulness meditation helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the part of the nervous system that actually kicks in after the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. It calms you down, it relaxes you. So the sympathetic nervous system kicks in when you are in periods of danger, and so it activates the body to freeze, to move, to take action, to not take action in order to get out of a dangerous circumstance. The body clenches up, there is tension, there is that physical contraction that goes along with the mental and emotional contraction. The heart rate elevates, all of that stuff. It creates the stress hormones that flood the body. So when the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in, I like to compare it to a cat that is licking itself. It's soothing itself, it's nurturing itself, it's calming itself. The heart rate lowers, the muscle tension relaxes, the breath rate lowers. You have healthier hormones that are flooding the body, causing the body to have these sensations and these reactions of calming, of resting, of entering a place of biological peace and relaxation, tranquility, comfort. And the parasympathetic nervous system being activated is also going to help calm down the anxious thought patterns that come along with periods of stress. The last things that I can really think of that someone may ask is, okay, well, what happens to the emotions and the sensations that you may be feeling? The experience is going to shift, it's going to transform, it's going to change, and ultimately it will self-liberate. It's going to go away. Every experience, really, if you think about it, troubling experiences that you have had from the past, you have learned from and you have grown from, and they aren't something that you continue to physically, bring around with you to this day. And when they do pop back up, you have a different relationship to those troubling times or those difficult times that you have gotten over and completely healed from and are, past. Some things in the moment you took them as very serious and is very troubling, and years and years and years later you could maybe laugh about it. In the immediate time though, you will be able to calm yourself, to soothe yourself, and the skills that you learn from mindfulness meditation, and if you are applying it in this specific way, are going to help you really transform those mental emotional pains into periods of peace and tranquility, and just help you navigate your life during those times. So let's talk about next steps and things to move forward with from here. Of course, if you are interested in mindfulness meditation, on deepening your knowledge of mindfulness meditation, and if you haven't yet already really begun to implement mindfulness meditation as a practice in your day-to-day life, make sure to check out my free 2-hour class, the 10 steps to clearing the mind with mindfulness meditation. It's going to give you the overview of the technique as well as the ins and outs. It's going to show you how the mind goes from very, very active and you can't really even control your thoughts, all the way down to no thought and no thoughts coming up in the mind, and what people typically associate with clearing the mind when they talk about mindfulness meditation. The link to that is going to be in the description box under the additional resources section. I also promised you that I was going to tell you about another book called The Magic. Along with mindfulness, gratitude or appreciation, something that I feel like everyone should adopt into their life. The power of gratitude and appreciation, just like the power of mindfulness meditation, can completely transform your life, your perspective, your experience and relationship to emotional pain and periods of feeling down or frustrated or angry. But this book is a series of daily activities where you activate the power of gratitude and appreciation in different ways for different things in your life. I have a group called Sacred Sunday Space. It is a self-care group. We meet 2 times a month on Sundays via Zoom. It's a self-care practice, no cameras. I personally curate a series of different practices, including mindfulness meditation, but other things like yin yoga to relax and calm the body, journaling for self-exploration and goal setting. Sometimes we do yoga nidra or breath work. As I am moving forward in my channel, I'm really trying to cultivate more community and support more people on their journey. So what I'm going to do is give away 10 free copies of The Magic to the next or the first 10 people who join my Patreon at any level, and it starts at $5 a month. You'll get access to Patreon exclusive guided practices, access to my additional mindfulness meditation series. But there are tons of yoga nidras and guided meditations, workbooks. We do Sacred Sunday Space and Dark Arts, which gets you access to those live self-care practices hosted via Zoom 2 to 4 times a month. And I'm going to be sending you a free copy of The Magic so you can begin to implement even more practices for self-care and personal development to help ease and soothe and navigate periods of emotional pain in your life. I'm going to include the link to Sacred Sunday Space and my Patreon in the description box below, also underneath the additional resources section. While you're down there, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you haven't done so already. You can follow along in this series by navigating the playlist section on my channel, and you'll also find a variety of other tools and techniques that you can learn for self-care and personal development. In the meantime, in between time though, here are 2 more videos that YouTube thinks that you would enjoy.